In just about a month, thousands of people will line up at the foot of the Ravenel Bridge to take part in the exciting Cooper River Bridge Run. If you've been wanting to take part in the race, but you haven't gotten out there to train yet and you think it's too late to start, think again. My guests today say there is still time to get ready for the big run, but you want to do it right and you want to do it injury-free as best as you can. So I want to welcome to Health Beat my two doctors today, Jeff Armstrong and Adam Brown. You're both podiatrists, and you are both very active people as well. First, I want to start with who's participating in the Bridge Run?
Well, I plan to, but my training's been very slow at this point. So
well, and that's what makes this show such a perfect. You can relate truly to this topic because you still need to get your feet ready for the big run. And Dr. Brown, your background outside of your profession is running, so I'm sure you have plans, right?
I enjoy it very much. Yeah, we're getting ready. We actually put together a team this year from the office for all of our patients, including the employees. So we kind of have like 30 people so far set up as a team to sort of
And have you guys been training together?
You know, it's really been more outlining sort of the training schedules, talking about shoes, you know, when to start, what to do. So, but we hope to have a great time all together.
That is
the
good.
day of the run.
Well, the Cooper River Bridge Run, hands down, is not an easy race because, you know, it's not your typical 5K. You know, it's a 10K, which for anyone who hasn't run in a race, that is 6.2 miles, quite far. And a big old hill that you have to get over, the hill being the bridge. Is it possible to truly get ready, Dr. Brown, this close to such a big race, to either run or walk in it?
You can. I mean, hopefully you've been doing some type of activity, either walking, walk, jog type thing to get ready. You know, if you're just getting off the couch right now about a month before the run, you're going to have to take some special precautions that you don't train too quickly to try to get ready. So, yeah, there's still definitely time to do it. You just have to pay attention to your body and your training schedule, and you can still get it done.
Well, Dr. Armstrong, what is the most important thing for people to keep in mind as they gear up at this point to get ready to run or walk in the Bridge Run?
well, I think that they have to have a plan. You know, they have to have a training program set up and follow that training program. You can't go out and just casually start running in hopes that you're going to be able to, you know, be very successful in the race. I think you have to have a plan, kind of stick to that program, maybe talk to somebody who's done it, or maybe even a trainer to set you up appropriately.
Well, you know, you mentioned, like, that's from the perspective of running, but there might be people out there saying, oh, I'll go and walk it. But maybe that person hasn't walked that distance all at one time. Do they too also need to get their body ready as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whether you're walking or running, the Bridge Run is still a challenge and it's still grueling on your body. So they need to start gradually and build up to it, whether you're walking or running.
Well, Dr. Brown, give us a good training regimen. What should we do? Because I haven't gotten ready yet for the Bridge Run, but I would like to. So what do I need to do?
Well, you know, about a month before, I mean, usually if you haven't been training much or you're not really in shape yet, I tend to start most patients or people out on a walk-jog program. Mm-hmm. So typically for me, about a month before, we'd start out with sort of like a 3 minutes of walk, 2-minute jog, you know, up for about 20 or 30 minutes of that. Do that several times a week, and if we can able to progress with no injuries, then we switch over to maybe we do, you know, 1 minute of walking, 4 minutes of jogging. So slowly we kind of gradually get into where we can do a full run for that extended amount of time.
Are there any tips that you want to pass along to people who are interested in running or walking, like maybe some big no-nos, be careful of, don't do this kind of thing?
Probably the most important thing is really to listen to your body. And you cannot, I tell my patients all the time, because you can't listen to your body during the walk or during the run. Soft tissue injuries, soft tissue strains many times don't show up for 12 to 24 hours later. So you may wake up in the morning, get out of bed, and have a very difficult time walking. That is a signal that whatever you did the day before in your training was too much, and you have to readjust and you know, taper your way down a little bit so you can build back up without these injuries.
Well, and the point of this conversation is not only to get people geared up for running or walking in the bridge run, but more importantly, to do it injury-free. So Dr. Armstrong, what are some of the common problems that can occur during training or the actual race day that we really want to try to avoid?
I think most of the injuries that we see in our office are overuse type of injuries. I mean, whether you're a veteran runner or you're kind of new at the sport, if you start pushing your body too far, you're going to see overuse injuries. And I think the statistics say that about 70% of runners eventually will develop some type of overuse injury. And that would include tendonitis, sprains, and strains that will occur because there's a lot of stress put on the ligaments and tendons in the foot when you do run.
Well, a lot of people will get arch pain, blisters, that kind of thing.
And I was going to add something to that also. Just because you have been a runner or a long-distance walker in the past, if you've taken time off from that, and I tell most of my patients, you've taken at least 4 to 6 weeks off, you're almost starting from the beginning. So even though mentally you think you're ready, you've done it before, you kind of still have to start from the beginning to train.
That is so true. And, you know, I think a lot of us will say, oh, I used to be a runner in high school or college, and then years go by, and then you want to do it again. You can't compare the way you used to be to your age today. So do you have problems, either one of you, with your patients who just overdid it because, you know, they were trying to do what they did years ago, but they just can't?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake that people make is that they train too much, too fast. I mean, when you start out with a program, you know, you want to run for three or 4 days for a week, you know, have a couple recovery days in there, because if you do too much too fast, you're going to cause these overuse type of injuries.
So would you say, Dr. Armstrong, that maybe some of the most common training mistakes might be not listening to your body, pushing yourself too hard, which then leads to those overuse injuries?
Absolutely. I mean, I think people think that it's going to go away, or I can kind of work through this injury and it won't be here in a few days, but all they're doing is they're making the injury worse, and that's going to really affect their running and really affect their performance in the race.
Gotcha. Well, one of the important aspects about properly training is the right kind of shoe. And so we're going to talk about that right after the break to make sure that everyone trains safely, whether you're going to run or walk in the upcoming Cooper River Bridge Run. So we're also going to go over the signs and the symptoms of the most common injuries, because no matter how safe you are, injuries can happen sometimes. So stick around to get advice on how to get properly fitted shoes and how to recognize and treat common injuries. Stay with us.